Telling time. In Spanish, the word for time when we're talking about time on the clock is la hora. Not tiempo, not vez. Those are two other words for time used for very specific instances, in specific contexts. Vez is one moment in time, like una vez means once or one time. Dos veces, twice or two times. Tiempo is a real general word for time, like cuánto tiempo, how long, how much time, how long must we study Spanish, cuánto tiempo, and so on. Time on the clock is la hora, hora, just like the word for hour. So in Spanish, they actually ask at the top of page 46, la página 46, and the very top thing says, the question is, ¿qué hora es? They're not literally saying what time is it, they're saying what hour is it. In other words, on the clock, what hour is it? So the way to tell the time, like to respond to that question and say, it is a certain time, if it's 1 o'clock or in the 1 o'clock hour range somewhere, you start out with es la. Literally, it is the. And you put the 1 in there, una. And then if there's any minutes added on to it, you put y. However many minutes. If it's 1:15, la una y 15. 1:20, es la una y 20. 1:30, es la una y 30. And that's it. I mean, that solves it right there for you. Es is used with una. Es la una, for example, or es la una and whatever it is besides 1. Anytime you hit another hour that's not 1, you have to start out the answer with son las, because you have more than 1. So now you're saying they are a certain number of hours, 2 all the way through 12. So es la una means it's 1 o'clock. Son las dos means it's 2 o'clock. Son las cinco means it's 5 o'clock. Son las ocho means it's 8 o'clock. Look down the list there, we got 1 o'clock, es la una. The next one we've got is 4 o'clock, son las cuatro. The next one we've got is 1:30. So in this case we've got es la una y media. And then under that you've got 10:15, so you've got son las 10:15. And notice that you're using la and las all the time with these. The hour is feminine. The next one down we've got 10:40. The hour is given first, then the minutes. Son las. Okay. Two ways you can do this 10:40. You can say it's 10 and 40. Son las 10:40. It's very common in the places that I've been. Spain, Mexico. It's common to do that, just like it is here. It's also common, just as common, to go the other way around the clock. Just like we would say 10:40 is it's 20 to 11, 20 minutes till, that kind of thing. They do that in Spanish too, but they do it in reverse from the way we do it. They say it's 11 minus 20. So in this case, you'd have to say, as the model says, son las 11, it's 11, menos 20, minus 20. Now the equivalent of past or after is y. So whatever minutes past the hour it is, it's going to be y. Es la una y 25, as you see in the next example. And the equivalent of to or till, like it's 20 minutes to 11 or whatever, is the menos. It's used once you get past the 30-minute mark on the clock. That's when you can start using menos, if you want to. I don't like to subtract, so I don't use it unless I have to. But I usually use the and all the way around the clock. Now, be careful with this because you're going to have two types of questions on the test coming up. You've got what time is it, and then you've got at what time something is happening. At what time is a que hora. It doesn't spell it out very clearly right there, but it does give you that green box saying the equivalent of at what time something is a la or a las. If I ask you, a que hora es la clase de español? At what time is your Spanish class? And if it's 11 o'clock, you would say a las 11, at 11. You wouldn't say son las 11 because that would be telling me it's 11 o'clock, telling me the time right now. A las 11, at 11. What time do you go to work? A que hora trabajas? A que hora trabajas? You would answer, if you're going at 7 p.m., a las 7, at 7 o'clock. Down through the little examples there, you've got the little explanations. You've got to say a.m. or p.m. You've got de la mañana, not por, de la mañana, to say a.m. And you've got de la tarde or de la noche to talk about p.m. If it's 9 a.m., son las 9 de la mañana. If it's 9 p.m., that's late in the night, so it's son las 9 de la noche. If it's like 4 o'clock, then you say son las 4 de la tarde. Real generally, you can stay with mañana up to 12 o'clock. If you're in Spain, you can stay with mañana up to 2 o'clock almost. You can say buenos dias all the way up to 2. And then about 2, anywhere between 12 and 2 o'clock is when things shift to the tarde, whether on the clock or saying buenos dias or buenas tardes. And then somewhere around 6, 7, 8 o'clock, depending on how night falls and things like that, just listen for the people around you, how they're saying it, how they're referring to it. About 6 to 8 o'clock is where it's going to switch from tarde to noche, depending on what country you're in, what region you're in. If the time is undefined, if you're saying like I study in the morning, estudio, then you don't say de la mañana, you say por la mañana. If you say I study at night, estudio por la noche. But if you switch it and put the time in there, as soon as you put the time in, then you've got to go from por la to de la. Estudio a las 7 de la noche. I study at 7 o'clock at night. And so on. Practice, practice, practice.